right, sounds good. I'm going to turn it over to our master of ceremonies, Evan Giddings.
Nice.
All right, boys, this is week 2 of the NFL, and we are going to start with none other than the 1 o'clock game that everyone will have their eyes on, SoFi Stadium. That is the 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams. The current line is San Francisco. It's actually come down a little bit, guys, so we'll take it here. Minus 7.5 points on the road at Sean McVay.
Guests first.
Yep.
Steve, start us off.
All right, I'm going to lay the 7.5 and take the Niners. That's the easy one.
All right, I'll go. We'll go Steve in that order. Boy, that's a lot of points. But the Niners, they own the Rams when it doesn't matter. It's early in the season, doesn't really matter. I'm going to take the 49ers too.
Go ahead, Evan.
Yeah, I will also be taking the San Francisco 49ers. I think that this is a game that they should handle the Rams in. I think LA is coming off a pretty big, and I don't know, we'll find out if it's a suspect win against the Seattle Seahawks last week, but I think the 49ers are just cruising right now. They're not going to be able to stop them.
No doubt. Put me down minus 7.5. I'd take it if it was 14.5. I'm just telling you, these two teams are headed in two different directions, and right now the Niners are just unstoppable, and 7.5 layup.
All right, boys. Second game on the slate. Back to the 10 a.m. We're going to Cincinnati, where the Bengals, after a 3-point defeat last week against the Browns, my goodness, they are 3.5-point favorites. 3-point favorites at home against the 1-0 Baltimore Ravens, coming off that win against Houston.
All right. Well, I'll start this one. I'll take the Cincinnati Bengals to cover here. There's no chance. There's no chance they're as bad as they looked last week. They can't be. And also, is T. Higgins not going to make a catch again? No. I don't think so. Wow. I think it's a coming out party for Joe Burrow at home. And I see it's going to be a big, big day for the Cincinnati Bengals. 41-14. I'm going to take the Bengals to cover.
Win by 27, apparently.
I just made that up. I forgot they're playing Baltimore. Yep. 21-14. Goo?
Oh, I got Cincinnati. I'm not a believer in Baltimore. Beckham Jr. didn't make that big of a difference. I know they scored in the 20s, but Cincinnati will not be one of those teams I talked about, the disappointing teams, and go 0-2. -3, this is kind of low to me. So I'm going to take Cincinnati -3 to cover, Evan.
Caller?
My turn? All right, I agree with you guys. I think Joe Burrow gets right and has a big game, too. Cincinnati.
All right.
Sure.
I will be taking the Ravens. Give me the points on the road. I think that Baltimore did not have its best performance, even though they won by like 16 points last week. They are missing, I think, one of their top corners as well as a safety. J.K. Dobbins, of course, had Achilles injury. But I think Lamar steps up in his stead, and maybe they lose by a point or two.
Okay. All right. Game number 3.
All right, third game on the slate, we're going to go out to Detroit, where the Seahawks are on the road. And the Seahawks, after that disappointing loss at home to the Los Angeles Rams in Week 1, will try and bounce back against the 1-0 Lions coming off that Thursday night victory against the Chiefs. Seattle is plus 4.5 at Ford Field in Michigan.
Go ahead,
You know what? I'm going to go with Seattle. We're going to find out. And Detroit got a win. I'm high on them. But I think Seattle, with those points, are going to cover. They might outright win the game. No weather conditions. So I'm taking the Seahags to, I don't want to say upset Detroit, but kind of bring them back down to earth.
All right. Evan?
This game was kind of tough for me. I'm also going to take Seattle. I don't think they're as bad as they were last week, and this week will probably prove that. I also think Detroit's just coming off a massively intense emotional win at Kansas City. And I think there'll be enough separation for Seattle to sneak in there.
All right, Steve?
I agree with Evan about that emotional win last week for Detroit. I like the Lions, but I think they're going to have a leg down in this game in Seattle. I agree with you. They might even outright win the game.
All right. I got to differ here, and I'm going to take the Detroit Lions. And while you guys are right, they're coming off an emotional win. That was a while ago now, quietly. 10, 12 days. I think we know Dan Campbell can motivate. So I think they've put that in the rearview mirror. And also, here's the other thing I was thinking. Even if they are a little bit flat, they're going to go into that Ford Field, and it's going to be a zoo because there are expectations now in Detroit for the first time in a long time, and I just think the Lions are going to break through early and roll in their home opener. All right.
Yeah.
All right, boys. Game 4, still at the 10 a.m. Our final 10 a.m. game is going to be Kansas City on the road at Jacksonville. Jacksonville surviving the Indianapolis Colts last week on the road. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, of course, lost to the Lions 0-1. Kansas City, the defending Super Bowl champs, are -3 in Jacksonville against Trevor Lawrence.
Wow.
Chiefs.
Wow.
I dare them to start 0-2 and then not cover 2. I mean, come on.
No, come on. What? Jacksonville, they got talent.
Kelsey will end up playing.
Yeah, but Steiny, they need something else.
Okay, well, then pick the other team.
Oh, I already told you. I'm going Jacksonville plus. What did you say, Evan? 3?
Well, you better be careful.
I got
3
it.
points.
Yeah, I got Jacksonville.
Kelsey wasn't practicing.
They got a Super Bowl winning coach.
Nimble.
Yeah,
he was
Peterson,
nimble.
I'm telling you, they got weaponry.
Kelsey was nimble, though, good at practice.
But nothing on the Tony dropping passes. I think the
he'll catch
story
'em all
is in
this
the
week.
NFL, when I see you guys Monday, Kansas City 0-2. I'm taking Jacksonville.
All right, Steve.
I don't think the Chiefs are going to drop as many passes this week as they did last week. But I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville and Kansas City starting 0-2. Man, yeah, I'm going against the grain.
All right.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Kansas City on the road -3. Not only do they get Travis Kelce back this week, they also get their number 3 player, Chris Jones, back this week up the middle. And I think that even though Jacksonville is a very, very good team, I expect them to win that division. I think that Kansas City bounces back and is 500 at the end of the weekend.
Oh, that's right. I forgot
It's gonna be
Urban
a good
Meyer got
game.
fired there.
Oh, my goodness. Horrible.
Last game, game 5.
All right, 5th game on the slate. We're going to go to Monday night. Sonny, I think I already know where you're leaning because the Cleveland Browns are going to Pittsburgh. Steelers, back-to-back home games to open the season, and they are 2.5-point dogs at home against the Cleveland Browns.
Go ahead, Goof.
Of course, won last week.
Call me Drew Carey, the black Drew Carey. I am all about Cleveland. Deshaun Watson is back. They got talent. They got a beast like the Niners with Bosa, with their D line. I'm telling you, they dismantled Cincinnati, and there's no way they're going to slip up here. Call me Drew Carey. I'm taking the Browns.
All right, Steve.
I think I'm going to go with Goo. I like the Browns. I like their chances to make the playoffs this year. I think they're a good team. I'm going to go with the Browns as well.
All right.
Uh-oh.
E?
Well, out of pride, I feel like I have to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers. I also think that I got to see it again with Cleveland. I think their defense is legit. They are incredible. But I do worry about that offense a little bit, and I think the Steelers are not as bad as they were. I think it was just the 49ers making them look like bumpkins. So I'm going to go with the Steelers plus 2.5 at home.
Yeah, after watching them against the Niners, and yes, the Niners were good.
Yeah.
Until they win a game, I'm considering the Steelers the worst team in football.
Oh, look at
I think
you.
they stink. They also lost their receivers on my fantasy team.
Johnson.
Smith.
Yeah.
Deontay Johnson,
yeah. So I'm going to go with the Browns, and this may be another 30-7 shellacking. Steve, thank you very much for playing.
Good luck, baby.
Your picks are locked
Hey,
in.
you're welcome. Hey, thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. You guys have a good
Absolutely.
day.
That's Steve in San Francisco. Make the picks for week number 2 for our listeners.
I love it, man.